So here it is, YouTube. I'm Roadhawk Wilson, welcoming you to the Reverie. And today I got to finally watch the new episode of Rick and Morty, and I saw throughout this series very heavy elements of the idea of shame and what it can do to a character. And we're really going to focus on that in the video. Spoilers ahead going forward, but I do want to inform you of some of the elements in this will have spoilers. But with that, this episode was actually really creative, really fantastical. It was one of the few D&D style episodes of Rick and Morty, and every time they tackle D&D, they tend to relish in some of the darker elements of D&D. And I think for women in particular, liking D&D, liking fictional characters, they get shamed, they get ridiculed and made fun of for being nerds because it's still so new to nerd culture. If you didn't know, in the early 90s and before then, it was very rare to run across a female nerd who was very open about what she liked. But in the same sentence, D&D culture tends to objectify women very heavily, and this episode very much goes through that with the idea of dragons and Rick and Morty and soul bonds and some very disturbing elements that are tied into that actual story. But it's very much that degree of sexuality that this episode tackles in D&D culture, and if it's healthy and if it's right. And throughout the episode, the idea of shame is not seen as wholly a bad thing. In fact, shaming people into seclusion really forces them to hit worse behaviors. However, in this episode, we actually look at the fact that once these behaviors are released, that actually makes things even worse. So the idea of shame should be balanced and handled appropriately. And there are multiple shows that have tackled this. Big Mouth, many Netflix shows, and what is a healthy degree of shame? And I can't answer that in a 5-minute video, but I can say that D&D is a fun, happy, laugh-filled element. I partake in that with many of my friends, but there is an idea that you have to do that within certain groups, within certain circles, and there is a shame that comes along with D&D even nowadays. And the idea that Rick and Morty is tackling these elements very grotesquely from time to time, but in the same elements, trying to show that D&D allows shame, it allows body positivity, it allows objectification, it allows shame, it allows all these other elements of life in a fictional world, is a powerful thing for Rick and Morty to tell, because shame has been throughout the series and has ultimately been showcased in a variety of different ways. This one really showing that we have to be accepting of people, we have to be accepting of what they like, who they like, if they're LGBTQ+, whatever they are, or orientation, whoever they are, we have to be accepting. And that if we hold people back, if we stop them from being what they are and who they are, ultimately we will cast them away. With that, guys, I'm Roadhawk Wilson saying keep up with the nerd stuff. I hope you took away that there's a healthy degree of shame, but there is no reason to push someone into seclusion or make fun of them because of shame. With that, I will see you in another video. Keep up the nerd stuff, and I will see you later, my people. Bye.